Yay! Hello, everybody, and welcome to Atlantic Canada Cooks. Here with Mom in the kitchen, and it's like mid-September.
Already. I know. Christmas is just around the corner.
Oh, Mom. But you know what? I'm glad she brought Christmas up. In Canada, especially, in a lot of North America and many other countries in the world, December and the holiday season, I call eating season. So we love to get cooking and get eating. And I want to say hi to our YouTube audience and our Zoom audience that are here with us. This is our 267th episode, but it's actually 268 weeks. And today's going to be about fresh and spices and really what's local. I have my home as New Brunswick but I live in New Brunswick, but we border on Nova Scotia, Prince Edward Island, Quebec on one side, and it's really harvest season, and so much great local corn, local things that are happening, and let's just say you're not going to get much more local than this. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about some of our spicy. This is one of my mother's favorite herbs. We really wish we had smell-o-vision. Because it smells incredible in this kitchen right now.
I know.
So on the menu today, staying with local and spices, we're going to be making a basil pesto. And then we're going to be featuring some other great fresh ingredients from local farmers. And we're going to be using some producer spices. And I'm going to set this basil maybe right over there by the toaster, Mom. It'll look nice. We're going to set that basil off to the side. I have a little bit more here, pre-measured and ready to go for our pesto that we're going to be making. The other thing that we're going to be making with our basil pesto is we're going to make a few like cocktail appetizer items, and then we're going to make some beautiful meatballs. And we're going to be making chicken meatballs today. And because I really love how poultry pairs with pesto. Actually, I like everything with pesto, let's be real. But this is a particularly fun and easy combination and something we hope that you make in your kitchen. So let's get the pesto made. Look, it's beautiful. It is a sunny morning here in Atlantic Canada. It's a cool 14 degrees. But it's going to go up to 20. So right now, I made sure I harvested my basil. A couple of reasons is my basil is starting to get blooms. And they look pretty, but they'll make your basil turn bitter. So we needed to harvest all the basil. And one of my favorite things to do when I do that is make a pesto. And I haven't made one in a while.
That's right.
Because this year we have a particularly good crop of basil.
Yeah.
So let's get the basil cooking. Pestoing? I don't know. So in this container I have 2 cups. This is a 4-cup measuring cup of beautiful, look, we're going to let it snow, some basil leaves, beautiful fresh basil. And I have a really good high-speed blender. So I'm actually going to put all my ingredients in my blender together. If you have maybe a blender that's not as high speed, I would recommend that you put your garlic in first. And staying again, so this is local garlic. We grew this garlic, and I know how strong it is. It's absolutely beautiful. And hopefully you can see here, it's got a little bit of that purple coloring to the outside. It's just the type of garlic it is. There's so many different types of garlic, but I can tell you, I'm peeling the skin off. I can smell the garlic right now. It's amazing. What a difference when you know, well, you grew the garlic and it is really, really fresh and it's not been transported for a ways. Woo, Mom. Smell that.
Oh.
Right?
Smelly garlic.
You go, good garlic. So I am just going to slice this a tiny bit to put in with my basil. So again, I have 2 cups of basil. I'm going to move my bowl out of the way here. And in here, we've got a few things. We're going to talk about these extra things here in a few minutes. But the other thing I'm gonna put is I have a half a cup of olive oil that I'm gonna pour into this. And normally I would pour this right into my blender, but I'm putting it in the bowl just so I can show you a little bit more of the ingredients for the pesto. Fresh lemon is always the best. And Michelle forgot her fresh lemons, but I always have one of these pre-done fresh lemon juice in my fridge. And I'm putting right now about a quarter of a cup of this lemon juice in here. And we've got our olive oil already in. And then the other thing that we're gonna want with this, along with that nice fresh garlic, some nice cracked pepper. And we're gonna add some salt as well. But I'm gonna be careful with my salt. Mom, you and I talk about that, right? You can always add more.
That's right,
But
you
you
can't take it away.
But you can't take it away. Exactly. So I'm going to put probably about a half a teaspoon of sea salt, fresh ground, one of my favorites. So that base pesto mixture is all pulled together. I'm reaching far up here. And the other ingredient that is so fantastic in this is Parmesan cheese. So earlier it was snowing basil. Well, let's snow a little Parmesan cheese. So you can see my hand, my measuring hand as we call it. I know I'm putting about a half a cup, but a little bit more. The other thing about Parmesan cheese, Mom, is Parmesan is also salty, right?
That's right.
It's got a little bit of that briny, salty. Look at that, I love it. Mom's right here with me. I'll take that, Mom. Thank you. So I'm gonna now put all of this down into my blender and we're gonna run that. I'm looking for my spoon. Here we go. Yes, I do. Mom would probably, there we have it. Let's get this out. Awesome. So we've got all that into our blender. We'll just set this here. And we're gonna put the cover on that. I can already tell I need a little bit more olive oil. So what I'm now gonna do is top off a little bit of olive oil. And then the last ingredient I'm putting in here is I'm gonna use walnuts. Pine nuts are very traditional, pesto, Italy, but I love using walnuts and they're far less expensive. So I am gonna put probably a quarter of a cup of walnuts in there. And then we're gonna put this cover on our blender tight. Oops, Michelle's having a hard time getting our blender cover on. There we go. Right, there's always something. There's a release button and Michelle's not touching it. So that's on there nice and tight. And I'm gonna give that Mom, and that's gonna blend up really nice and green. Put this on here, Mom, on. There we go, just gonna give it a watch. That's gonna get nice and loud, isn't it? We're gonna get that turned up, and but it only takes a few pulses.
Which one?
And that's gonna be, you can just put it on high, Mom. So we're gonna blend up some goodness. Very excited about this. There we go. Good. How's that good, Mom? There we go.
It looks.
And it's a little creamy looking,
It
so we're
needs
gonna add a little bit more basil into that, just to
Yes.
get that a little bit richer. And look beside you, Mom. Look, you have a bowl of basil.
And it needs to.
There we go. So in here, I got my back to the camera. That's always good. We're gonna add a little bit more basil to freshen that up. You can see that I washed this up this morning. When I'm taking my basil, I'm gonna be really careful to just make sure I'm taking my leaves. And what Mama's doing right now is she's taking what we call a spatula, or like a rubber spoon, and she's just pushing the edges down.
Yeah.
Because, you know, the pesto is not really, we want a little bit of a thickness to it.
Oh.
So we're gonna get that in there. It smells amazing.
Oh. Yeah.
And I'm gonna add probably another quarter of a cup of basil leaves. Here we go, Mom. Give that a go. Do you want a little bit more olive oil, Mom?
I don't think so.
Or lemon juice? Let's
No, I can
taste
see
it.
the liquid down there.
All right, we're gonna get that blended up. I'm gonna get started on my chicken meatballs. So let me just grab my bowl.
I don't know how to put this on. Never
Mom's
mind.
gonna have the same challenge I did. There's just one way that it works for
Oh,
safety. There we go. We just push the sides down one more time, and we're gonna have that where we want it. Okay. Smells amazing because when the blender hits, all those scents, smells absolutely great. But let's get these meatballs put together. And in this bowl, I have some ground chicken. And ground chicken's great to get. Check out your local butcher. They always have it. I'm going to use a few of pre-mixed seasoning. Mixed by, I think, one of the best seasoning spice people I have met. And that is Cynthia from Axe to Grind. So I just want to say, Cynthia, I am loving these food and flavors.
sorry.
That's all right. Mom's getting the final mix in there. And we've been enjoying those as well. Mom, we're just going to get a bowl or something you can pour that into. Just watch the cupboard. So in this bowl, I've got my ground chicken. And just on the side here, I have about 3 tablespoons of oats. And I do that because they're going to actually act as a little bit of a binder for my meatballs. And there's not enough there to change the flavor, but just to help it stick together. And I know we've got, so I'm going to add fresh chives from my garden, which pair really nicely with the chicken. And in these ones, I'm putting probably about a tablespoon of those fresh chives. And I know, Mom, that we have a beaten egg around here somewhere.
Right here.
So we've got an egg ready. Thank you, Mom. So we've got an egg. We mix that egg up really well. We're going to put that right into our bowl. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some of Cynthia's great Axe to Grind seasoning. This is called Herbes de Provence. Love that. It's got that really great inspiration from France. And really what this is some of those absolutely incredible dried herbs. I'm going to put a little bit in my hand. I know it's not great, easy to see, but the aroma is amazing. I'm going to give it a little rub in my fingers. And these seasonings are really well done. I don't need a lot. I'm going to put probably about a half a teaspoon. And inside this, and this is already mixed, is thyme, savory, rosemary, marjoram, sage, just a hint of lavender. It's a wonderful combination, and the flavor in it is absolutely, I can smell it from here. So I have some dried herbs and spices, and I have my fresh onions. I am going to add a little bit of pepper, and I'm going to add a little bit of salt to even these out. So we're going to mix this up, and we're going to form those meatballs, and they should come together quite easily. And I really love this recipe because when you're sitting around, you can have a whole plate of these meatballs if you really want, or they're wonderful. As you'll see, we're going to display those with our pesto because we believe food is meant to be sauce. Oh, Mom, did you give it a taste test?
Nope.
All right. It looks
delicious.
absolutely
Smells delicious.
perfect. Smells amazing. So I'm getting this mixed really well. And I'm going to form those meatballs. When you make this mixture, it's always good to let it sit for about 5 minutes. And basically what's going to happen is those oats are going to activate a little bit and swell from the moisture and then create that really great consistency with our meatballs. But I know one of my other favorite thing to add to my meatballs is just a little hint of Parmesan cheese. So we're gonna let that snow on there a little bit, Mom, and add a little bit of Parmesan. So I'm gonna give that one more stir. I can already feel it tightening up with the oats in there. And you can see all the green onions. Looks amazing. And these meatballs are gonna cook pretty fast. So Mom, why don't we warm that burner up behind you? So Mom's gonna get the burner heated up because you always wanna make sure when you're pan frying some meatballs that you put them into a hot pan so we can get it cooking properly. So, wow, look at this, so beautiful. It smells absolutely divine. I'm a good cook. I always have a tasting spoon nearby. Let's give this a try. Wow. It's perfect. Perfect as is.
It is.
It absolutely tastes amazing. I'm super pleased with that. Get our garlic out of the way here. Here we go. And we're gonna put our pesto right over here. So you're gonna see over here, I love this. Cynthia has these amazing, really great gift ideas. This looks like a log because it's all about axe throwing. And this is popcorn seasoning. And I love it because I had the privilege of doing the event this weekend with some amazing vendors. And what I love is they showed us how to use their seasoning in different way. So inside this bowl, thank you, Wendy Johnston Pottery, you can get a taco popcorn seasoning, the dill pickle, which we're gonna have some fun with today, and then look at the smoky barbecue. So not only are they delicious on your hot popcorn, they're amazing to use with other vegetables, meats, whatever you may be. So we're gonna have a little fun. Thank you, Cynthia, for these amazing ideas. And what we're gonna do is I'm gonna take her dill pickle, set it right here, and I've got a cucumber. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my cucumber, and it's one of those nice English cucumbers. So the skin and the seeds, absolutely amazing to eat. And I'm just gonna cut my cucumber in half, like this. And what we're gonna do is I'm just gonna take the side of my knife and cut these into like little moon shapes. And Mom, if you could grab me a couple of those little dishes that are right there, that would be awesome. And this is one of those dishes that I really like because, yeah, right on the perfect. Can you carry the whole thing over?
Yeah, the frying pan is on the top.
The wooden board? Awesome.
Frying pan, yeah.
Ah, thanks, Mama. All right.
I'll just set these right there.
Perfect. So you don't have to have fancy little serving spoons like we have. These were a beautiful gift that was given to me along the way. But what we have here is we've just got our board with a couple of little great serving spoons. And what I love about this is you can bring your cucumber with you and your spice and assemble it when you arrive at your event that you're going to, or do it just before your guests are arriving. So what I'm gonna do here, and this is intended to be a bite. So something that someone can just take a really quick bite with. And I've got a couple of pieces of cucumber on each one of these. And I'm gonna take my dill pickle popcorn seasoning, right? And we had this last night. We taste tested it with a crowd. Get my finger in there. There we go. And it really only needs a little bit because it's got a great punch of flavor,
Yeah.
right, Mom?
Just need a sprinkle.
Just a little sprinkle of that. And so that's gone on there. And what I am gonna do, this is olive oil in here, but I am just putting the tiniest, we would say a dab of olive oil on the top of each one of those. and it also looks really beautiful. You could throw some fresh herbs in there. A little bit of maybe fresh chives would look nice with this as well. But this way you can greet your guests with these beautiful little bites of freshness. And Cynthia had these ready for us at a beautiful event. And I can tell you, our guests love them. She also has a Caesar salad rimmer that is equally delicious. So another one of those easy inspired recipes. So we're just gonna set our cucumber over here, Mom. I'm gonna have a little taste test wine. We got our meatballs ready.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna get my hands dirty. We're gonna get some of these meatballs together, and while they're cooking, we're gonna pull our last recipe together and show you this great little afternoon appetizer. So I just washed my hands before this. So I wanna make sure that my meatballs, I'm not looking for a giant meatball, right?
Bite size.
Bite size. And because I know they're really well mixed in the bowl, I'm just gonna form a few of them like this, and I'm gonna give those to Mom. Mom, I just need a plate to set these in. Actually here, I found a spot in my other bowl. So we're just gonna make a couple and make sure you form the balls. These I can feel already are well mixed. I'm not pressing them together tight. Chicken's a little bit more delicate that way. Here we go, Mom, I got one more in here. And I'm gonna give Mom about 4 to cook, just so we can show you. And we will cook the rest of those up this afternoon, and then we can have them hot and fresh. But these little ones shouldn't take too long to cook. And a little cook trick, if you notice, I'm only getting one of my hands currently with poultry on it, and I've kept my other hand all clean with that fork. We'll make sure that burner's not too hot, Mom, so we don't burn the outside of these.
Yeah. Turn that down.
So remember, when you're cooking poultry versus beef, you always want to watch, but we do want to get a nice sear on those. I think those are perfect for you, Mom.
Okay.
I'll trade you with that. Show everybody what those look like. And as usual, Mom will bring those back perfectly cooked. I'm going to take 2 seconds here and wash my hand, because now I have a chicken hand. And we do not want to cross-contaminate. There we go. Always practice your food safety in the kitchen. So we were talking about harvest season. Here in Atlantic Canada, you're gonna see a lot of corn, your squash, your different fall harvests. But the other thing that's really fun, and last night we decided to take a tour of our garden to see what was left. And this we picked fresh out of our garden. So we've got some yellow beans that we're gonna have a little later today. These couple of these beautiful little peppers that are still getting ripe. Look at this one. He's perfect. I'm going to use that in a great recipe. We've got some wonderful tomatoes and these beautiful cherry tomatoes. So I'm going to take a few of the cherry tomatoes and for this next little delicious appetizer, get those out. And they don't often make the bowl because I eat a lot of them directly off that. Right, don't I, Mom?
Oh, me
so we're all out there eating the ingredients prior to arriving. So that tends to be a pretty funny one. So we're going to take and do, this is what I like to just say, it's a simple bread mixture that gets everybody happy because there's some wonderful things. And you're staying focused again on the fresh ingredients. So we have our cucumbers here. We have our pesto. Wow, can I ever smell those delicious meatballs cooking behind us. So I have my tomatoes here, and I also have a few other fresh herbs. And you can go into the markets now, and I love it at the farmers markets. You see all of the farmers selling all these beautiful fresh herbs. Grab some. These is thyme. I grow this in my backyard. So you can give the gift of thyme. So I'm going to take a little bit of my thyme. If you see, I just sort of pull backwards. And I'm going to put it on the side of my plate. And because the herbs are, you don't really need to cut thyme because it's tiny little leaves. So we've got a little pile of thyme. That sounds so funny to say. And I know I've got my kitchen scissors here. And this one, rosemary. And you want to take your rosemary and give it a little rub because you waken up the oils in it. Oh, those smell delicious, Mom. And what I'm doing is I'm cutting the rosemary really, really fine. Rosemary is a pretty powerful herb, and I'm only using about the end of 3 of the leaves. And we're going to create this little mixture in the corner. And I am going to add some salt and pepper. But first what I'm going to do is put a little bit of olive oil in my pile. Then I'm going to crack in a little bit of pepper and a tiny bit of salt. And I love balsamic vinegar. This particular one is a glaze, so it's thicker. And balsamic vinegar pretty much never goes bad either. So what we're going to do is we're just going to run, it looks like dessert. A little bit of that balsamic vinegar through the middle of that mixture. And I've got a beautiful loaf of bread here. We love going to our local butchers. Butchers, exactly. Bakers. Well, we like the butcher too. But you're better off going to the baker for bread, right, Mom?
Yeah.
So you see this, it has seeds and it's a rye bread. And again, one of my favorites to use. And what I'm going to take is, we're going to cut a little bit of this up. Michelle's got a busy board today. There we go. So you don't have to toast the bread, you can if you want. I'm going to show you the beautiful seeds and how fresh this bread is. But I am cutting it really thin because I don't want super large pieces, right? So I'm going to hold this up. Wow. So the bakery does an amazing job. You can see all the seeds and everything in it. And I'm just going to fan that bread out. And it's going to be able to go on the side of our plate. And what I'm going to do with my little cherry tomatoes on this corner is we're just going to make a little pile. And they already taste incredible. I have to stress that because I picked them this morning. These ones. Just taking the green stems off. And this is like a little plate for 2 or 3 people to enjoy. There we go. What do you think, Mom? One of our favorite things. I haven't made us one of these plates in a while. Yeah. And, Mom, if you could do me the honors of grabbing a couple of pieces of basil. What we're going to do with these is we're just going to add a little tiny bit of basil. And tomatoes need salt. So I'm going to put a little crack of salt. And I have no doubt in my mind that Cynthia probably has, thank you, Mom, the perfect spice to sprinkle on these. But we really want herbs in this one to be the hero. So we're going to I'm going to cut the basil into little strips. Oh, those smell so good, Mom. There we go. So when you sit down and enjoy this plate, you know you've got your fresh oil, your fresh bread, and those beautiful fresh tomatoes. So take a piece of bread, dip it in, enjoy the freshness of those herbs and spices. So don't think healthy eating or snacks need to be complicated. This particular one is just as fast as getting a bag of chips. But I promise you, it's going to be much, much healthier for you. So these are great, Mom. Oh, the meatballs look good. So we're gonna finish up our recipe, or our, oh, those look perfect, Mom. So Mom has those meatballs nice and crispy. The other reason why they're crispy is that Parmesan cheese gives it that extra crust. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna make these into beautiful little bites. So a little bit of pesto in the bottom of each of these. Oh, look at that, Mom.
Oh.
And now let's take and we'll nestle, as we say, one of those meatballs on top of that pesto. And there we go. Finishing off a beautiful little treasure treat for you to enjoy. And we hope that you get some more herbs and spices into your everyday world. Make some pesto. It's not complicated. And check out all the local seasoning that your local vendors have. We also have, I'm excited to try this because you're not as much the heat, but we've got a chili garlic oil that we just got from a great Peony's Best in Nova Scotia. Wow, very delicious. I think I might put some of that on my meatballs as well because I know they're going to be amazing. So as we wrap up today's episode, get back in the garden, go see our farmers markets, enjoy all of that freshness. And remember when you go out and you experiment with so many great locally made seasoning and spices. They're inspired. She has a Halifax donair one. We had those burgers the other day. Absolutely awesome. So support local, and we look forward to catching up with you soon. And thank you so much to all the local entrepreneurs.
Yes.
Right? For all the hard work you do. Thanks for joining us in Atlantic Canada Cooks.
Take care.
And we'll see you next week.